Hello everyone, in this video we're going to be talking about character scenes and all of the different features that character scenes have. We're going to be exploring each of these features in a separate character scene. At the end you'll have a QR code that you can scan so that you can see what all of these features look like. Let's go ahead and get started by clicking on Create Experience. Now you'll notice in the storyboard the very first scene that appears here is a character scene, and a character scene is made up of three main parts. The first is a piece of text, the second is an area to choose your character, and the third is an area to add buttons. You can also add sounds and frames or backgrounds. We'll be exploring those in just a second, but first let's go ahead and set up a basic character scene. So in the text I'm going to type in basic. We will add a character by clicking in the character menu, and from the character menu you have several different options. You have thousands of different characters uploaded by the community that are 2D characters. You can go into the Google Poly section and find thousands of characters that are 3D poly characters. We have a few animated 3D characters, and we also have hundreds of thousands of GIFs that you can use in your experience. I'm going to go back into 2D. Before I select a character, I also want to let you know that you can search for characters. So if you want to search for something like cat, you'll see a bunch of different cat characters, and you can also add your own image or GIF to use as a character by clicking on the Add Character button. Simply click on the button, upload an image here, and then name your image, then click Save when you're ready to put that character into your storyboard. I'm going to keep things simple and just choose this board cat character. Great. So we have our text, we have our character. Now let's add some buttons. Simply click on the button area. You can add as many buttons as you'd like, and then you can delete buttons by right-clicking on them and selecting delete. You also have the option to move the buttons up, down, left, right if you'd like. I'm just going to keep one button here, and I'm just going to say next in the button itself. So let's go ahead and add another character scene to our storyboard, and in this character scene we want to make sure that both scenes are linked up. In this character scene we're going to actually be using a background, so let's go ahead and change our character really quick. Maybe we'll go into Jiffy Cat and see if we can find a cool GIF. I'm going to type in cat, see what we can find. And it looks like we have this fun Nyan Cat character that we can use. Now let's go ahead and change it to a background. So to do that, you'll notice that in the right-hand menu it is set in AR mode. To change it to a background, all you have to do is click on background, and then you'll have the option to change the background here at the bottom. So let's go ahead and click that button. It's similar to the character menu. You can select from a variety of backgrounds, and you can explore backgrounds via the search bar, upload your own images to use as backgrounds, or search for specific backgrounds using tags. I'm going to go into abstract, and then I'm just going to use this purple background. That looks real nice. Now let's go ahead and add a button that says next, and we will add some text so you know what's going on. It'll say background. Perfect. Let's add our third character scene and then link it up. There we go. I'm going to set this back to AR. Let's go ahead and use some button styles for this one. So I'm going to go ahead and change the character here. Maybe we'll look for something like dog, see what pops up. Perfect, we've got this silly dog character. And in this one we're going to have button styles, and I'm going to show you how to edit the button styles. Let's go ahead and add 4 buttons here. And then we're going to click on an empty space in the storyboard. So if you click on an empty space in the storyboard, you'll see that you can edit the button styles here in the right-hand menu. So you can change them from being bars to being squares or maybe circles. I'm going to use squares. Directly underneath that, you can choose the number of buttons per column. So this will also edit the size of the buttons. I'm just going to leave this at 2 per column. And then underneath that, you can select the color of the button. So you can drag this to select your specific color. I'm going to make it red, and then you can fine tune it up here. There we go. We're just going to make this a bright red. You can also choose from the preset colors directly underneath. Now let's go ahead and add different options. We'll have 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's how you edit the button styles for your character scene. Let's move on and add a new character scene. And in this character scene, we're going to be exploring how we can add audio to our scenes. So let me change the character really quick. I'll search for something like microphone. There we go. That's a microphone character. We're going to make this background, and let's change the background. Maybe we'll go into gradients and see what we can find. And this purple bluish gradient looks great. So in the text, I'm going to add audio so that you know what's going on, and let's make sure that the scenes are linked up. We have 4 buttons, so we're going to have 4 transitions for this scene. Here we go. And now let's explore audio. So you can click on an empty space in the storyboard, and then directly underneath you'll see an area that says Add Sound. If we click on that, you can select a sound just like you would select a character or a background, search for a specific sound, search in all of the different tags, or add your own sound. And for this one, I'm going to add my own sound because I want to show you how that works. Just click on the Add a Sound button. From there, you can choose to upload your own MP3 file, and the sweet spot for MP3 files is 25 seconds or less. Depending on the size of the file, it may take longer to load the sound, so keep that in mind. The other thing is we can upload the sound directly via our computer microphone, and we can do that simply by clicking on this microphone button. It will count down, and then we can record our sound. So let's go ahead and do that. Hello there, we're adding sound to our scene. We just click stop recording to stop record, and then you have a playback option here. Let's see if it worked. Hello there, we're adding sound to our scene. Perfect, so it sounds like it's working normally. We'll name our character Tutorial Character Audio, and then we can add some tags, or we can allow the community to use this sound if we'd like by switching this on or off. I'm going to leave that off since it's not really an important sound, and then I will save it. And then you will notice that you have the sound name underneath the scene. So the next thing I want to show you is how we can add some timers to our scene. Let's go ahead and add a new character scene in here. Maybe we'll switch it back to AR. Let's see maybe if there's a timer character. Perfect, we've got this clock, that'll work just fine. We'll say timers at the top. Let's add a button that says next in the previous scene and link it up. And now let's go ahead and add our timer. So we're going to click in an empty space within that scene, and then you'll notice underneath the button controls there's a control that says timer. We can actually use a timer by switching this on, and then we have our timer here. Now this timer is set to delay, and we're going to choose the number of seconds that we want our timer to be. So right now it's set at 10 seconds. Let's say I wanted to set this to 7 seconds. This is going to count down from 7 at the top of our character scene. We also need to decide a transition for when the timer runs out. We'll do that in just a second by adding a character scene, and we can force the user to wait. In this particular instance, I'm going to force the user to wait. So after 7 seconds, it's going to transition to the next scene. Let's add a final character scene to our experience. And we'll go into our timers section again. We will have transition to scene, and we will transition to the next scene here. Now the last thing I want to show you is how a 3D character looks within your scene. You'll see it in your test as a real 3D object that you can put in 3D space. Let's go ahead and change the character. We'll go into 3D Google Poly, and we'll take out the search, and let's see what we can find. So if I scroll down, I can see that this fox character looks pretty cool, so let's import that. It's not actually going to appear with this black background. This is just for the screenshot, so keep that in mind. And then let's just add 3D at the top, 3D, and we will add a button that says End Experience. So you can go ahead and take a look at this character. We want to make sure the transition is set to End Experience, and our experience is now complete. Let's review what we did here. So we have our basic character scene, text, character, and button. In the next scene, we added a character with a background. This is going to display flat. The next scene, I showed you how to edit the button styles. So remember, click on an empty space, and the button styles are on the right. In the next scene, we added audio by clicking audio. This was that first button underneath the scene. The next scene, we added timers, so this has a 7-second timer, and that's found directly under the button styling controls. And then the last scene, we actually used a 3D character. So I'm going to go ahead and publish this experience. We'll call this Tutorial Character Scenes, and then I will publish this. Okay, so let me zoom in really quick so that you can get a bigger QR code. Feel free to scan this code to see everything we just did in this experience. I hope you learned a lot about character scenes and how you can utilize the different features that character scenes have. Thank you for joining me in this tutorial, and we will see you next time.